Hello students, welcome again to Edubbey Global Solution. We have another topic that we're going to be looking at in our mathematics class, which is graph of functions. We're going to be looking at some functions like quadratic functions, and we are going to be looking at how does their graphs look like, what they call the type of the graphs you plot in quadratic equations, and we have examples how to plot our graphs, how to prepare our tables, and we have our interactive content here that will serve as a guide for this class. Okay, now let's look at the general expression for a quadratic function. Take the form we've treated quadratic equation before, so we have a x raised to power 2 plus b x plus c x, where a and b and c, where a and b and c are constants. Okay, so a and b are always integers values and c is a constant value. Now we have an example of how quadratic equations look like here. Y equals to 2x raised to power 2 plus 3x plus 12. That's an example. Another example is y equals to 2x raised to power 2 minus 5x plus c. In this type of example, we have to use your quadratic equation formula that we have. A is going to be 2, 3 is b, and c is 12 for the first illustration. Now, a graph of a quadratic function produces a smooth curve called a parabola. This is an illustration of how a quadratic function graph look like. So if we are plotting a quadratic function, it produces a smooth curve, and this smooth curve is what we call a parabola. Now we have an example of a given graph here, which is y equals to x raised to power 2. We have this graph already plotted. So, and this is how we have to prepare our table. Now, assuming that we have such an example, we have to prepare a table. We have a table for x and we have a table for y. So for this example now, we have our x ranging from minus 4 to plus 4. So if you can see, we have minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, we have 0, 1, 2, 3 to 4. That's the value for our x. And for y, we are preparing a table related to the table for the value of x, that is from minus 4 to plus 4. Now, for us to get the value for y, what we do here is whenever we see x, now we replace x with the value that we have here, which is from minus 4 to plus 4. Okay, now, and after that, we plot our graph with the table prepared. Now, let's go through this and let's see. Now, when x is minus 4, what is y? So y equals to x raised to power 2. So it's going to be what? Minus 4 in two places, and that is what? 16. When we have x to be minus 3, minus 3 raised to power 2 is what? 3 times 3 minus times minus will give us plus. So 3 times 3 is what? 9. For minus 2 raised to power 2 is going to be what? 2 times 2, which is 4. And minus multiplied by minus, as I said, will give us plus. So minus 1 raised to power 2 will give us 1. 0 raised to power 2 will give us 0. 1 raised to power 2 will give us 1. 2 raised to power 2 is what? 2 times 2, 4. 3 raised to power 2 is what? 3 times 3, 9. And 4 raised to power 2 raised to is what? 4 times 4, which is 16. Now, having that, we have our table for y and we have our table for x. So we plot at graph here. Now we have a range of the value for positive and negative x. So we have 0 through 4, and we have minus 1 to minus 4 for the x-axis. And for the y-axis, the maximum value that we have here is 16, so we can have upward, and the minimum here is what? Is 2. So we are giving it an interval of what? Interval of 2. So 2 is the starting point. 2 plus 2 give 4, plus 2 6, plus 2 8. So we have interval of 2 for the y-axis. So now let's have when x is minus 4, x is minus 4. What is y? Y is 16. So we have this point here. When x is minus 3, what is y? Y is 9. So we have it after 8 a bit here. When x is minus 2, what is y? Y is 4, okay? When x is minus 1, y is minus y is 1. And when x is 0, y also is 0. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 2, y is 4. When x is 3, y is 9. And when x is 4, y is 16. So we sketch through the dotted points and we have the graph. Now we have another example here, which is an illustration of the negative value of minus x raised to power 2. So what this does is that you have your minus 4 multiplied by 2, which is 16, then our negative value, which is minus, comes in. So 4 minus 4 square is what? That's 16. Then we have our negative, so we have minus 16. Minus 3 square, that's 9, we have minus 9. Minus 2 square with our minus sign will give us minus 4. Minus 1 square is 1, with the minus sign we have minus 1. 0 square is 0. 1 square will give us 1, with the negative sign we have minus 1. 2 square, 3 square, and 4 square. So if we have to plot, when x is minus 4, y is going to be minus 16. When x is minus 3, y is going to be minus 9. When x is minus 2, y is going to be minus 4. When x is minus 1, y is minus 1. And when x is 0, y is 0. When x is 1, y is minus 1. When x is 2, y is minus 4. When x is 3, y is minus 9. And when x is 4, y is minus 16. So we have a sketch curve here. So this smooth curve is what we refer to as parabola. Okay, now let's look at an activity there. We are going to be preparing this table, and we have the graph already illustrated there. So let's prepare that table for that quadratic function, which is y equals to x raised to power 2 minus 5x plus 4. So if you have to prepare the table, they said the value of x ranges from 0 to what? To 5. So we are going to be having x, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So having doing that, now we place the value of y. The first one is going to be x raised to power 2. The second one is going to be minus 5x, and the last one is plus 6. So for the plus 6, because we don't have any coefficient after it, it's going to be plus 6 all through. Why? Because we don't have any coefficient of x after it. So we have 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and all 6. Remember, we are equating to y, so we want to get the value of y. So all of this together, we are following this rule, and we are following. So x squared, 0 square is 0, 1 square is what? 1, 2 square is 4, I mean 2 times 2, 4, right? 3 square is what? That's 3 times 3, which is 9. 4 square is 4, 4 times 4, which is 16. Now 5 square is what? 5 times 5, which is 25. Now minus 5x. So when 5 is 0, put it here. That is minus 5 times 0, which is 0. Okay? Minus 5 times 1 will give us minus 5. Minus 5 times 2 will give us what? Minus 10. Minus 5 times 3 will give us minus 15, right? Minus 5 times 4 will give us minus 20, okay? Minus 5 times 5 will give us minus 25. So we have to perform the arithmetic of this. 0 plus 0 plus 6 will give us 6, right? 1 minus 5, that's what? Minus 4. Minus 4 plus 6, that is what? Minus 4 plus 6 will give us 2, okay? Now for the next one, we have 4 minus 10. 4 minus 10 will give us minus 6. Now, minus 6 plus 6, that is 0, okay? 9 minus 15 plus 9 minus 15 plus 6 as well will give us what? It will give us 0, because minus 6 plus 6 is 0, okay? Now, 16 minus 20, 16 minus 20 plus 6 will give us 2. 25 minus 25, 0 plus 6 will give us 6. So for this table now, we have a value of y and x now. So y and x. So when x is 0, look at this graph, y is 6, so we have it plotted. When x is 1, what is y? Y is 2. So when x is 2, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 0. When x is 4, y is 2. And when x is 5, y is 6. So if you look at it, y when x is 0, what is y? 6, right? When x is 1, y is what? Y is 2. Okay? When x is 2, what is y? Y is 0. So we have it on the point. When x is 3, y is also 0. When x is 4, y is 2. And when x is 5, y is 6. And that gives us the illustration to that example that we have here. So next one, we're going to be doing the activities by putting the appropriate value in the table. So let's look at this. We have to prepare the table and draw a graph of y equals to x raised to power 2 minus 4x plus 3. That's the y. Okay. Now the next one also is what? Well, y equals to x raised to power 2 minus 4x plus 3. And this is the value of the given illustration, which is what? It ranges from -2 to +5. So we have the prepared table here. X is going to be ranging from -2 to +5. So we have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 5. Okay, now we are having x raised to power 2 minus 4x, okay, plus 3. So when x is raised to power 2, now for this first one, x raised to power 2, right? -1 raised to power 2, that will give us what? -1 raised to power 2 will give us what? We have 1, okay? Now, the next one, x raised to power 0, we have this. 1 raised to power 2, that's 1. 2 raised to power 2 will give us what? That is 2 multiplied by 2, which is what? 4, okay? And that's what the first table. Now, let's look at the next table. That is -4 multiplied by the value of x here. So, -4 multiplied by -2, that is minus times minus will give us plus. 4 times 2 is 8. And that's how we prepare this table. Now, let's have where we have our space here. -4 multiplied by 2, that is going to give us -8. So, we have this. Now, let's look at the next table. Since we don't have any coefficient value here, we are going to have +3 also. So, this one also, the empty box here is going to be taking our box +3. So, let's drag it in. Now, okay, now let's have the prepared table. 4 plus 3 plus 3. 4 plus 8 plus 3, that is what? 12 plus 3, that is what? 15, okay? 1 plus 4 plus 3 will give us 8. 0 plus 0 plus 3 will give us what? That is going to give us 3. 1 minus 4 plus 3 is 0. 4 minus 8 plus 3 is -1, okay? And we have 9 minus 12 plus 3, and we have that all true. So let's check our arrangement. Okay, that's cool. Now let's look at this. We already see we have the plotted graph here. And now I want to bring out an illustration before we go to the next slide. For a quadratic equation, the solution set is the point that meets with the line on the graph. So if you look at this, the point where x meets with the line on the graph is what? We have 1, and the point here also is what? Is 3. So the solution set for this type of equation is going to be x equals to 1 and s equals to 3, because this is the point where the graph falls on the line on the x-axis. So let's prepare this table as well. We have y, that function, y equals to x minus 4 raised to power 2 plus 2. So we have the graph prepared there. Let's prepare our table and let's see what we are going to be having. Okay, now let's put in the barrow for x. X ranges from 0 to 6. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when x is 0, we put it here and we'll see what we have here. So 0 minus 4 will give us what? That is -4. -4 squared will give us 16. Okay, now let's look at this mixed force and let's fill in the gap. 1 minus 4. 1 minus 4 is what? -3. So -3 raised to power 2, that is -3 times -3, that is 9. So we have our value for 9 here. Now let's look at the next mixing for 6. 6 minus 4 is what? That is 2. 2 raised to power 2 is what? 2 raised to power 2 is 4. So we have our value here to be 4, okay? Now, because we have a constant value for +2, all this table here, the value is going to be +2. So the missing box here too is going to be +2, okay? Now, for the value of y now, 16 plus 2 is what? 18. So we have 18. 9 plus 2, 11. 4 plus 6, 6. 1 plus 3, 3. 0 plus 2, 2. 3 plus 2 will give us what? 5. So we have 5. And that's the arrangement for the boxes. So now, for this now, when x is 0, y is going to be 18. When x is 1, y is going to be 9. When x is 2, y is 6. When x is 3, y is 3. When x is 4, y is 2. When x is 5, y is also what? 5. And when x is 6, y is 6. And that gives us the arrangement for that graph. Now let's look at another example that we have here. We have to draw this graph. Y equals to 2 over x. And the value for x ranges from what? minus 4 to plus 4. So we have to draw that graph. Now let's prepare the table minus 4x to plus 4x. Now when x is minus 4, what we need to do here is we slot it here and we have 2 divided by minus 4. So 2 divided by minus 4 will give us what? Minus 0.5. 2 divided by minus 3, we have minus 0.7. 2 divided by minus 2 will give us minus 1. 2 divided by minus 1 will give us minus 2. 2 divided by 0, that is infinity, is undefined, so we don't have an answer for that. Now 2 divided by 1 will give us 2. 2 divided by 2 will give us 1. 2 divided by 3 we have 0.7. 2 divided by 4 we have 0.5. So the value for y as well is going to take the same value. So we have for this one is going to be minus 0.5. The next one is going to be minus 0.7. And after that we are going to be having minus 1. Then we have minus 2. We have undefined. We have 2. We have 1. Then we have 0.7. So if you look at this graph, it falls into two ranges. We have the negative side and we have the positive side. So we are plotting the positive when x is 1. When x is 1, what is y? Y is 2. Okay, we have that. When x is 2, what is y? Y is 1. Okay. When x is 3, y is 0.7. And when x is 4, y is 0.5. Now for the negative aspect of it, now when x is minus 1, what is y? Y is 2. Okay, minus 2, right? Now when x is minus 2, what is y? Y is minus 1. When x is minus 3, what is y? Y is minus 0.7. And when x is minus 4, y is 0.5. Okay, now let's look at the next slide. We have another activities. This is an exponential function. Function of the form y equals to x raised to power s are known as exponential function. So we have a work example here. Let's prepare this graph and let's see what we have as an answer, and we are going to be plotting the graph as well. So we have drawn the graph of y equals to 2 raised to power what? X, when our x ranges from minus 3 to plus 3. So when x, we are going to be having the value of x ranging from minus 3 to plus 3. That is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now when the value for y is going to be what? 2 raised to power x. So for the first one, we have 2 raised to power minus 3. Under indices, we know that this is going to be what? The inverse of 3, which is what? 1 over 3. So we can write this as 1 over 2 raised to power 3. And by the time you divide, 2 raised to power 3 is what? 1 over 8. 1 divided by 8 will give us 0.125. Okay. Now for the next one, we have 2 raised to power minus 2. We can write that as what? 1 over 2 raised to power 2, which is 1 over 4. 1 divided by 4 will give us what? 0.25. Okay, the next one is going to be the value of x when x is what? X is minus 1. So we have 2 inverse of 1, which is 1 over 2. 1 divided by 2 will give us what? We have 0.5. The next value is when we have our x value to be 0. So we have 2 raised to power 0. And 2 raised to power 0 under indices is what? It gives us 1. So we have it to be 1. The next one is 2 raised to power 1. What is 2 raised to power 1? That is 2 times 1. 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay. The next one is 2 raised to power 2. 2 raised to power 2 is what? 2 raised to power 2, that is 2 times 2, which is 4, right? The next one is 2 raised to power 3, which is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that is what? That is 8. So now for this type of graph, when x is minus 3, y is what? Y is 0.125. So we have 0.125 here. Now when x is minus 2, y is what? 0.25. So we have it here. When x is minus 1, what is y? Y is 0.5. So we have it here. Now when x is 0, y is what? Y is 1. And that we have here on this graph. Now when x is 1, y is what? Y is 2. And when x is 2, y is what? Y give us 4. So we have 4. When x is 3, y give us what? Y give us 8. And we have it here. And this is going to give us the solution set to today's graph. This takes us to the end of our class. Subscribe to our channel www.edubbey.com for the full interactive content of this class. Thank you.